Get your kicks on Route 66.
Well, my name is Dan Rice, and I'm the owner of 66 to Cali at the end of Route 66 on the world-famous Santa Monica Pier. A lot of people ask me, is this the official end of Route 66? And the answer is actually no. This is technically not the end of Route 66. It's what is known as the traditional end of Route 66, and here's the reason why. In 1926, when Route 66 was first created, it ended downtown Los Angeles at 7th and Broadway. And in 1935, there was a movie being made. And for the movie's purposes, they didn't want to shoot downtown Los Angeles. They wanted to get something that had the Pacific Ocean and some palm trees that really showed California. And so what they did was they created a prop sign. Then they put it up on the bluffs over here, just near my shop, and basically just shot this movie with this prop sign that said Santa Monica 66, end of the trail. For the movie's purposes, that made Santa Monica the end of Route 66, but it really still ended downtown Los Angeles. But that spot became so popular that the following year, January 1st, 1936, the ending of Route 66 was moved. They moved it out to Santa Monica, but they couldn't move it to that spot because that spot violated a federal highway rule that said you have to have one highway end where another one begins. So what they did was they rerouted Route 66 right down Santa Monica Boulevard until they got to Lincoln. They hung a left. Now Lincoln is 7 blocks before the end of Santa Monica Boulevard and the Pacific Ocean meeting there. So what they did was they took a left there at Lincoln. You went to Lincoln and Olympic, and at Lincoln and Olympic, that's where Pacific Coast Highway began. That fulfilled the federal highway rule. Route 66 ends, Pacific Coast Highway, the Highway 1, at that time known as Alt 101, began. So there's your official ending of Route 66. Meanwhile, the people who were traveling Route 66, they were on Santa Monica Boulevard on Route 66 at Lincoln, they could see the Pacific Ocean in front of them. And so they didn't care anything about official highway rules. If you've just come across the desert and you see the ocean in front of you, that's where you're going. So the people would come to Lincoln and Olympic, they would see that Santa Monica 66 end of the trail sign, but then they saw something else. If you look in the back of the picture I have in my shop, you're going to see the pier is in the back of that shop. And if you're looking at the pier and somebody is driving out on the pier, because remember, people until 1983 could drive on Route 66 all the way to the end of the Santa Monica Pier. You could drive and put your car over the Pacific Ocean. So if somebody else is got their car out here over the Pacific Ocean and you're up there, you're not stopping. You're bringing your car out onto the Santa Monica Pier. So this became known as the traditional end of Route 66 only because traditional is defined in the Webster's as the culturally accepted practice or norm. So if for 76 years now, people have been traveling to the Santa Monica Pier to mark the end of their Route 66 journeys, this becomes known as the traditional end. Now the spot up there at Santa Monica and Ocean, where the end of the trail sign used to be, that's become known as the symbolic end. And the official end, of course, is over at Lincoln and Olympic, but to this day, there still is no sign there. So what I did, having traveled Route 66 26 times in my life, I've never understood why was there nothing at the end of Route 66. It was very anticlimactic. When you've just seen all the best mom and pop shops and hotels and diners and museums, you get to the end and you're in Los Angeles. It's showbiz country. You're expecting there to be some huge finish. There was nothing. And so I put my shop on the pier and I created this sign for 80 bucks at a Kinko's the night before I opened, because if you look at the sign in Chicago, this sign exists, but it says begin there. You're expecting to have that end sign. You want to take that picture. So I created this, put it in my shop, and all day long, people started taking their pictures around it. It was the only sign in Santa Monica. It was the only way to really sort of rightfully end your trip. But I bought the rights to that Santa Monica 66 end of the trail sign too, really just to put it on my t-shirt, because I wanted to have a shirt that captured not just the end of Route 66, but also the Santa Monica Pier. So I started selling so many of these shirts that the city came to me about 3 weeks after I opened and started selling the shirt, and they said, "What's the history on this sign? We're seeing the shirt everywhere." I told them what it was, and they said, "If you own the rights to the sign and we own the pier, how would you like to put the sign back up?" Well, what do you think? I wanted to put the sign up. So we did. On the 83rd birthday of Route 66, we put the sign back up on the pier, and now 24 hours a day, whether I'm open or not, there's a sign to take your picture in front of when you get to the end of Route 66.
Get your kicks on Route 66.